haven't been here super long. You get your first goal with the team against Toronto. Just talk about that moment for you as you kind of implement yourself early on in the process with the Black and Red.
The moment, the actual moment, or
Yeah,
just
just
in
the
general?
moment. Just the moment of scoring the goal. You know, you're here early in the process. This team's fighting for a playoff spot. Just talk about the moment of scoring that goal and helping this team get 3 points.
Yeah, it was a special moment for me. It's sometimes as an attacking player, it's hard to get that first goal, and once you get that, it's a huge weight off your shoulders. And so, personally, I'm happy to have scored my first goal for the team. But bigger picture, it's great to get 3 points, move up in the standings, and get the win. It's great that I was able to bring energy and do what I needed to do for that game, and I'm happy that we've got great energy going into this game this weekend because of it.
You guys take on Chicago, and it feels like at this point, it's been like this for a couple of games now for you guys. It feels like every point is going to matter down the stretch here because from 8 to 15, it feels like whatever the week is, someone else is jumping up and down or going down the standings or whatever. Just do you guys look at it in full picture? How do you guys try to focus on just one game at a time, taking care of the job against Chicago?
We definitely look at the big picture. We understand the opponents that are coming up, but also as the week gets closer to the game, we narrow down and really focus on the next game. And so the rest of the games past Chicago are kind of hindsight right now, and it's all Chicago right now. But that doesn't mean that we're not, at the back of our mind, still preparing ourselves for what's to come and keeping track of what other teams are doing.
Obviously, you signed here not too long ago with this team. What was kind of the talks like when you came in here with Troy about what your role was going to be with this team, and how has that role expanded so early on in the process?
Um, we had honest conversations about my role. Never did he sell me on being a starter. He was honest with me. I'm a piece that's going to complement the attacking players. He didn't promise me coming in and necessarily playing a lot of minutes. It's just he knows what I bring to the table, and wherever I'm needed, be it a starter or coming in off the bench, I'm going to be able to contribute. And so, having honest conversations with him in regards to that made it an easy decision for me because a lot of people will sell you on false dreams where he was very realistic, and he's an honest guy who I trust, and so it was an easy decision.
Thank you.
Now we'll take some from Zoom, Matt.
A little bit of Bruce Murray. Hey, Don. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great. Bruce Murray, DC United Radio. I was watching, picked up that ball, the great slot ball from Dahomey, and you could see that you were going through your checklist like a good pilot, and just it was a pro's pro in terms of the finish. Can you walk us through the finish and what you were looking at? Sean Johnson, one of the best keepers in the league, and just how easy you made it look, but it was a little bit more than that.
Yeah, so once Daho gave me the ball, I looked over my shoulder real quick, prior to actually, just to see how close the defender was, and I saw they were spread out, and so I knew I had a little bit of time to let it run. Once I let it run, Sean Johnson came out, and at that point he was so close, it was either between his legs at the near post or try a chip. But it all happened so fast that I ended up just going for the near post option. For me, the chip is kind of out of the books. It's kind of risky, but honestly, it was between the legs or the near post, and yeah, I ended up just going with my gut and hitting it near post.
That was great. And then you must be with all these. You got Mark Gabriel, you have Jared, Christian, Dodo, Herrera, Koo. I mean, all these guys can get you the ball. It's got to be exciting as a forward. I mean, I'm a former forward myself. I mean, the more guys who can facilitate, the better it is for you. How do you feel about that?
That's great. This is a great team system to come into as an attacking player, for sure, because you have a lot of selfless players that are willing to run, players that are willing to assist the ball, give you passes. And so, I mean, this is a perfect system for somebody who's a 9 and needs service to score.
That's great. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you very much.
We'll go to Dennis Gomez. your time. I just want to ask you about what is the team's assessment on Chicago and how can you guys capitalize your strengths on their weaknesses?
It's tough because down this stretch, what teams have done prior to the Little Leagues Cup tournament is kind of it's a little different. We don't know exactly what you're gonna get because just like us, teams regroup and they figure out what's necessary for the last 8 games, and so yeah, we can analyze what Chicago was like prior to Leagues Cup and all the games they have coming into this game. But honestly, at this point, all of us are trying to scrap for points. So I'm sure you're going to see a team that's a lot more desperate, a lot more aggressive, a lot more energy, that just really want it because they understand that it's do or die at this point, and they're desperate for points, just like us. So you're definitely going to see them come out with a lot of energy, especially since they're at home. But again, we have our system, and there are definitely some areas that we can exploit, but staying true to how Troy wants us to play and what our strengths are, I feel confident going into this weekend.
And this is a follow-up. I wanted to ask you on a more personal note. You're a well-known veteran in the league. What interests you in joining DC United?
The number one thing was Troy. Troy and I have had a relationship for 10 years now, and he's somebody who's always kept in touch with me throughout my career, and that means a lot to me. I'm a very loyal guy, and I knew that if the opportunity ever came for us to be reunited again, I would definitely consider it. And so coming back into the league, I had other options, but at the end of the day, it was an easy decision once I sat down and had a few conversations with Troy.
Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
And we have one last question submitted via Zoom from Dave Johnson. You've been here now for a couple games. What are your impressions of DC United so far? And do you think this team has the mentality of a playoff team?
Poof. It's an ambitious team. It's a team that strives, that wants, how should I say? It's a team that's doing everything necessary to be with the top teams in the conference. I can see that they're trying to start a solid foundation to build something a lot bigger. And they're growing pains in that, of course. And I'm sure as you follow the seasons, you see the ups and downs of it. But Troy's really tried to implement consistency, whether the results are going our way or they're not. And so for me, that's very important if you want to build a team that ultimately is successful in the long term. Yeah, you can do things to have short-term success, but he's really focused on longevity, which is very important. And so for me, you want to be part of a program like that. And they're going to be tough times, but you're starting to see it, and you see the confidence building in the locker room. And I think as confidence builds and we continue to play together and get better performances and more wins, you're going to see players elevate their games, which is ultimately going to lead them to be a playoff team. And I honestly believe that this team can be a playoff team, and I think it's going to show during this last stretch of games.